when I said earlier about infrastructure crumbling because of all the debt, to finish up on that point a little bit, it goes back to private equity. What private equity does, private equity can borrow all this money at near 0% and buy entire companies, entire industries, and strip out all the assets and keep the profits. Like, Bain, the Bain Capital, Mitt Romney. That's that's where he comes from. We saw it in the movie Wall Street in the 1980s, right? They were doing leveraged buyouts, as it was called.
So what does that mean? What is that?
That means that if you have a company and you want to buy that company, what you can do is, and I was working on Wall Street when this really became huge, is that you can pledge the assets of the company that you don't own to borrow money. And then you borrow the money and you buy the company that you previously did not own. And now that you own it, you start to sell the assets off. The pension fund, the overfunded pension account, the real estate, they fire everybody. And what's left, and you pay down the debt that you borrowed, and you keep what's left, which could be $100 million or $500 million. That's called leverage buyout. And it was really pioneered by Mike Milken during the 1980s, because he wrote a paper when he was at Wharton where he figured out that the lower grade debt outperforms high grade debt. So he said, why don't we just do original issue low grade debt? So Ron Perlman and all these other corporate raiders, as they were known, they went to Mike Milken, they borrowed billions, they did leverage buyouts, they bought these companies, and they stripped them, they sold all the assets, and they became billionaires. Well, over the last 30 years, that's become bigger and bigger and bigger. And so the private equity market, like Warren Buffett is essentially a private equity firm. He doesn't invent anything, he doesn't do anything, he never worked a day in his life. He just borrows money cheap from the Fed, strips companies. He's an asset stripper. That's all he does. And he's overrated as a performer. If you take out the bailouts from the Warren Buffett performance over the past 30 years, he wouldn't be beating a money market fund. He's the most overrated money manager in history.